In this screencast, we're going to look at how to manage your assignments or activities. Kind of the idea, we've kind of gone over by this point how to upload single or advanced uploading of files. We've done online and offline activity or online text, offline text. And so now, once you've created those, what's a simple way to manage them and go retrieve them as far as assignments? There's a couple ways to do it, so you may stumble across another way. I'm going to show you one that I think is the easiest and one of the simpler ways to do it. When you're in this initial screen, if I'm going to bring you over to the left hand side here, and under this block that says activities, we're going to click on assignments. Now when the screen refreshes, it will have a list of all your activities. Now for this I just have these four, but all the activities that you have created under the activity genre or category will appear here. And so the title of the activity, the assignment type will show up. If you have a due date, that will appear. Also, you'll have, if you come over here to the right, submitted. No attempts, no attempts. One submitted assignment, one submitted assignment. And there has yet to be any grades entered. So that gives you an idea of what's been submitted and what hasn't, all kind of in one simple place. If I bring you back over, if I was to click on the name of the activity, that would take me to that initial setup page where you could edit it and change it if you wanted to. So it could be another way to come to edit and change. But if I come over here, and let's click on the View One Submitted Assignment for Online Text. Now what happens is it drops me into a new page. This is the generic student we have enrolled here. There's a couple things I want to point out on this page that are useful. One is up here where it says first name. I have quite a few students enrolled in this class, so I kind of condensed it down to just Dave's student here, but you can begin to search students by the first letter of their first name or the first letter of their last name to kind of condense it down. Typically you won't have, when you see this page here, that's how many pages of students I have because everyone kind of gets enrolled in this course. So you won't have that. You should just have one page. But you're going to find the user's name, which by clicking on this would take you to their profile and allow you to send them a message if you wanted to, something that's kind of a side note. You're able to click on grade and edit their grade. Comments, we'll talk about that in 1 second. Notice here last modified, that's when the change was last made. Here's the name of the assignment as far as what he's turned in for his online text and the date and time that was done. It will also give last modified, so you know when you last made changes. And then here you would click on to be able to go in and update or change the grade. For the student, it would show up on the other end where it says grade, but here's where you could alter or change the grade. If you look up here in the right hand corner, you can also update this assignment from here. It always kind of gives you a nice way to jump in and change it if you want to. Again, you want to do that prior to the students having done anything with it or seen it, but that's a way as you're checking this to do that. Submissions shown per page. This is how many names will be laid out on the screen. It says 10, but I'm on the last page for a reason, and I've done a specific person search. That's why it only shows one name right now. But this is how many names would show up. So if you have 18 in your class and you want to see all 18, or you have 18, you only want to see 5 a screen, you can adjust it there. And they allow quick rating. That's a little bit of advanced setting too. If you know that you have a whole group of people that you're giving the same grade or comment to, you can set that preference and then just click allow quick rating and it'll do it automatically for you. So let's come back over here. Now if I click on the name here, it'll drop me into the activity. Now remember, we said this was just an online text activity. So last edited, let us know when the person was in there last and made any edits or changes to it, how many words there was. Here's what it looked like, or here's what it would look like. So from the student, because this, remember, was an online text activity, the idea of clicking on it would allow us to come into here and see what they have written, to where we could read it and get an idea of what the information is. Okay. Now that may or may not be helpful, it just kind of depends. But a lot of times you're going to want to then be able to go and grade it. So by clicking on grade, A new window. Now there's a couple things that are in this one that we want to talk about. So you've read it, you have a sense of what it is that you want to say. Okay, grade, no grade, or here's the point scale. So I had set this grade to be worth 100 points, just a generic setting. So this would be determined on what you have set it. So they could have gotten anywhere from 95 to 100, all the way down to 0, which you can't see because it's at the bottom of the screen, but that would have been an option. Okay, so that's why final grade doesn't appear yet, because I haven't set, there is no grade set. If we come over here, a couple things, notice the icon appears, and that's my icon, because this is where you're going to give feedback or offer comments outside of the text if you would like to. Okay, so alright, and we'll show you where that appears in the next page. And if I go down, I would hit save changes. That would save it, take us out to the next page. Cancel would just take us back to the next page and cancel. Save and show next. That would allow you, if there were more students and you're working in a sequence, would save what you have done here and go to the next student, so you never have to leave the screen. Or if you just click next, that would just go to the next student automatically that has turned in their assignment. Now if we come down here, you're able to see a little bit more information. And notice here we have the student's name, and their icon would appear there if they had an icon in. And then here's what they had written. Now obviously if it's more, if there's more text, it'd be lengthier and longer, but that's what they have written, so you're able to see that in here as well and use that as well. Okay, so if I click save changes, alright, as soon as it wants to. Aha. Now it brings us back to that initial page that we were in. Now notice here under comments there are comments, because that's in that box next to my icon was where I wrote comments for the student, so that's where you could leave comments, so the student could then come in, click on comments, and see those comments. And notice also over here, if I bring you to the right, you can see where it was last modified by the teacher, not the student, so you get an understanding when you last looked at it, made any changes, if you wanted to update something. If we were to go back, and that's the same feature throughout. So if I were to go back to assignments, notice that with the offline activity there was one submission as well. Okay, just to kind of give you an idea how it's very similar. Now notice here it pops up with Dave's student, so I need to look for all to find out where the assignment is, or who has turned in the assignment. And since I know who it is, I can actually, nope, didn't want to do that. I can actually, oh no, don't do that. You can minimize what you see on the screen. So like for instance, just then I clicked this, which would take away the names, okay, or take away the icons and leave only the names if you wanted to kind of shorten it up a little bit as far as what you saw. But let's look for, I believe, S. I do believe that was her name. Her name began with S. I should have had that already up. Sorry about that, but at least you get an idea of how it can work. And hopefully your computer is faster than this one, because this is painful. And I'm hoping that any minute now it will appear. Okay. Alright, so notice I did the search because I knew her first name, and so her first name Sean, last name Altman, so I typed in S for first name, A for surname, and over here you'll see last modified, because that's when she last turned it in, when I last turned it in, and the status because I didn't grade it, but it's been updated. So if I wanted to change it, make any adjustments, I could update, and then the student would be able to see it. So I clicked on that. You're going to get the similar screen as what we had before, as far as what the functionality of it is and what it will do. As far as being able to let you know, here's when it was last updated, so I can make any changes, save changes, and the student name and icon appears at the bottom. Pretty helpful and useful ways as far as managing activities. and assignments and whatnot, and how to get to them and access them. And you have quite a few options as far as providing feedback to the student. And remember, if you've chosen inline with online text assignments, that'll allow you to edit and make adjustments inside the text itself that the student has written, so that you can make comments inside there as well.